But moving on to another story, the CBI has conducted raids at the NGO of the Lawyers Collective Office and the homes of Indira Jaisingh and Anand Grover at their residence today. The CBI had earlier filed a case of violation under the Foreign Contributions Regulation Act against Anand Grover and the Lawyers Collective based on a complaint given to them by the Ministry of Home Affairs. Now, I want to remind our viewers that this story is important, and the reason why I'm bringing it up is because these two lawyers, Mr. Anand Grover and Ms. Jaisingh, and the Lawyers Collective have been active for at least 3 decades. And over these 3 decades, they have pro bono fought some of the marquee cases of human rights in this country, including the latest one, where Indira Jaisingh fought to free the Kargil war hero who was being held as a foreigner in a camp in Assam. They've been part of cases of gender rights, they've been part of cases of human rights, and of course the most important, LGBTQ rights. What's going on, and why is this Lawyers Collective, which is a pro bono, not-for-profit organization, being raided? To help us understand what's going on, Mr. Kailash Vasudev, senior lawyer of the Supreme Court, joins us right now. Mr. Vasudev, good evening, and thank you for giving us your time today. As a lawyer, as a senior lawyer with the Supreme Court, and both of these lawyers are your colleagues, does this cause you concern?
Yes, it does, and it is bound to. We are more concerned on these facts that a lot of us lawyers do a lot of pro bono work and work in the interests of the general public at large. Indira Jaisingh, her husband Anand, have worked very hard for the purposes of protecting basic rights. Their stands have been freedom, away from these, pressing on moral issues, trying to figure out where what goes wrong. The LGBT case is a classic example. Their battles for human rights are known. Now, if somebody is going to battle for human rights, they are doing so at their own peril, as we see it today. There's a report by the Home Ministry that there is something amiss about their NGO. NGOs are those which receive monies for the purposes of non-government activities and in ascertaining what they should do in the matter of their own principles. In the many years that we have known this young couple, now young, they have done human service in this area. If there's an allegation of wrongdoing, the government is bound to investigate and look into it. I only hope that nothing comes out of this investigation, because Mrs. Jaisingh has stood by the bar. She stood by in laying down procedures even for the appointment of senior advocates. Her judgment and her arguments were accepted by the court. So there's a lot of good things they have done for the purposes of defending individual rights. But if there's an allegation of wrongdoing, mismanagement of funds, there is going to be an investigation. And I only hope that the investigation does not implicate them in anything wrong. We don't expect this to happen because most of us at the bar have faith in both these people. They're senior advocates who have stood by their principles and convictions.
Mr. Vasudev, Ms. Jaisingh has come out into the press and she has made a statement saying that this is a witch hunt. It is basically she's being targeted because of the human rights work that she has done in her career, as is her husband. If that were true, this would be a great point of concern, because it would mean that the CBI is being used to target perhaps people who are being viewed as enemies?
I wouldn't take it that far. The CBI is definitely coming into areas which it shouldn't. It is being brought in by everybody. Today, in the MLA's case, you want CBI. You want, for any political purpose, you want the CBI. For attaining or investigating any charge, you want the CBI. In a rape case, you want the CBI. So the CBI is becoming more like an umbrella for all eventualities which do not involve criminality. To say that the CBI is going to be the sole investigative agency, I think would raise a lot of eyebrows, because They are doing something which may be a civil offense, but definitely not doing anything harboring on criminality. We have had instances of cases which have taken a lot of judicial time from Gujarat, from Maharashtra, from UP, where people have been brought into the dragnet of the law for no rhyme or reason. And those involved have been given charge sheets by the CBI. The saddening event of this whole thing is local police investigations are failing. The CBI is becoming a very powerful thorn, notwithstanding the unfortunate proceedings which took place between the Director General and his ADJ very recently, which became matter of judicial proceedings. An institution which itself has created disrespect for itself is being given overall powers, and in an area where its disrespect has not gone so far. This is an element which is going to be a matter of concern as we go along in time.
Yes, Mr. Vasudev, many thanks for bringing us your point of view on this very, very important story. Like you pointed out, it's a story that we should all keep an eye on because it's a story of concern. These two lawyers, like we have said in the past, have done a great deal in the service of human rights and for the voices of those who didn't or weren't given equal voices in this country. Like Mr. Vasudev said, this should be ideally a civil matter and not a criminal matter, and so the involvement of the CBI might be an overstretch. Ms. Jaisingh, on her part, has made a statement saying she's being targeted for the human rights work that she is doing. We will continue to track the story very carefully for you. Well, India is all set for its second mission to the moon. The Indian Space Research Organisation, or ISRO, will launch Chandrayaan-2 on Monday, the 15th of July. The mission's aim is to improve the understanding of the moon and explore uncharted territory on our natural satellite. Chandrayaan-2 consists of two segments: the orbiter, the lander called Vikram, and the rover called Pragyan. The geosynchronous satellite launch vehicle Mark III will carry the lunar probe to its designated orbit on Monday. I leave you with visuals of this brand new launch that ISRO released just today.